Before we deep dive on the details of the Simple Sales System, I wanted to go straight to the source and let you hear from a student of mine who's less than a year into her Simple Sales journey at the time of this recording. As you'll hear, Mackenzie is doing great with the system, but I wanted to spotlight this interview specifically because her results are a great example of what I have come to expect, and really what you can expect if you decide that Simple Sales is right for you. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Mackenzie. All right, so Mackenzie, you come from an all-inclusive background, is that correct?
I do, yes. From the very get-go, I was all-inclusive.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about, how long that was and how that went and why you started in all-inclusive.
I was freelancing photography in 2018. I left my job. My husband and I moved to Singapore, and the work visa situation was strange over there. So I was like, okay, well, this is a great time to start freelancing. I wasn't into families yet, but I was doing like some editorial and some food. So that was like a flat rate, all inclusive, which was a little bit easier to price than families. So then when we moved from Singapore to Cleveland, then I started my family business here, and all inclusive just felt like the easiest way to go. Like I really didn't have a ton of information on like how I should be pricing myself. And so I just thought, all right, well, we'll see how this goes. You know, tale as old as time. It did not go well. You put so much work into it. And then it feels like it's a constant hustle. So I was doing that 2018 to 2023 when I got into the blueprint and launched my my new pricing.
Got it. Cool. So tell me a little bit about that transition. Like, how did you find out about Simple Sales? What made you, what was it that was inspiring you to go out and actually look for alternatives to what you were doing?
I had a particularly busy 2022 fall, and I had a little one, and then I had a little one on the way. So I'm like, okay, this just doesn't, I felt wrecked at the end of fall, and it didn't feel like I could maintain it. I feel like I just had to do a lot of hands-on gallery delivery and question answering and emailing and link sending and all of that. So I'm like, okay, I have to find an alternative for this. This is not working. I am like an education junkie, and I like to research a lot. So I'm like, all right, I got to find something that's going to help me on the pricing end of things and the systems end of things. So I just scoured like all of my photography Facebook groups, and you kept popping up. And I did listen to your podcast, and I watched the masterclass, and I think I watched it the first time. It might have been the end of the summer in 2022. And I just like was not ready to pull the trigger yet. And I had a particularly bad experience where I invested a good chunk of money in a photography business course, and it just like did not do it for me. It did not move the needle for my business. So I was a little hesitant, but after I kept seeing your name pop up and listening to the podcast and hearing other people talk about the results that they had, I'm like, okay, it's time to just try it. So I purchased like end of 2022, the class, and then was like ready to launch in March of 23. I was on maternity leave. And so March, I was like, all right, this is when I'm going to launch the new pricing. And I did that. I went through the course like pretty quickly, gobbled it up. It was really, really good. Interesting. The spreadsheet that you have is like mind blowing. Loved it. Made
so
everything
when you say the
easy.
spreadsheet, do you mean the calculator?
The calculator.
I mean, it is a spreadsheet-based calculator, but yeah.
The calculator. Yeah. I was like, oh, you're a genius for figuring that one out.
Thanks.
So I just feel like that made it super simple. Once I got into it, it's felt so much more manageable seeing how you had everything laid out and all the systems laid out and how you've worked with PickTime to make it like really, really easy for your students and people to access it and implement it on the back end.
Nice. So you went through the course, you launched in, sounds like the beginning-ish of 2023. And what were your, did you have any fears or concerns as you were getting ready to launch, as you were getting ready? I mean, you had an established business, it sounds like, for 4-ish years. I feel like a lot of people have concerns about, like, how is it going to be received or that sort of thing. Was any of that going through your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So I just think the biggest concern for me was my past clients not wanting to pay the pricing, because while my base collection is similar to what my initial all-inclusive pricing was, it was like you're getting a lot less for that price. So I was worried that people would see that and be like, well, I paid her this last year. I'm not going to pay this year.
Sure.
And I did have a couple of those, but for the most part, people came, they were coming back. I had new clients that were not balking at the price, and they were like, okay, And to me, I think like we all struggle with that imposter syndrome where you're like, people are really going to pay this for pictures from me?
Uh-huh.
And yeah, so that was like my main concern. And I mean, hindsight 2020, like it should not have been, but you never know when you're venturing into something new like that, how it's going to be perceived. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised.
Good. Well, I always say it's one of those things where it's easier said than done. You know, I can sit here and talk until I'm blue in the face about like, well, the people who leave, you know, that was meant to be and you have to, you know, let that go, whatever.
They're not the people for you. Yeah.
But I've been there many times where I'm sitting there kind of staring at my new whatever pricing guide or sales page or whatever and just thinking, is this going to be, you know, the straw that breaks the camel's back and it's not going to work.
Right.
So good. I'm glad that you had a good return or response rate rather on that. Okay.
I did.
Yeah. And my understanding was that you kind of soft launched and then sort of took it. So let's talk about over the course of the last year, how it kind of came together. Because when we're recording this, it's the end of the year. You've, been running this for about a year. Talk to me about like what you're seeing now that you're looking at a year's worth of data.
Yeah, I mean, short story, I've made more money than I ever have in the 4 years I've been in business. And I feel like I've done like maybe half, 75% of the work. You know, it's just, I can take on less clients and make the same amount or more, in this case, a lot more money. And I'm seeing like it's so much more hands off with the simple sales system when I can go into pick time and I send the gallery and then I'm like, okay, I don't have to go back and forth and do emails unless like they're obviously having an issue or need help with something. But it's like all automated and I don't have to touch it, which is amazing. I've got 2 little kids at home, and so I don't have a ton of time to be sitting in front of my computer. And the time I do have, I'm like, all right, I got to edit this session. I got to do this social media, but all of the admin backend stuff that needs to get done. So it's just, I'm blown away when I looked at my analytics and pick time and I'm like, oh my gosh, just product sales alone, that I just never could have imagined that would have happened. And I posted on the Facebook group about that. I had a 10K month. Never, ever, ever did I think that I would have a 10K month. And I was just like absolutely blown away.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I didn't feel burnt out like I did the year before. It just felt a lot easier, seamless. I mean, I was busy. Everybody is busy in the fall.
Yeah.
It's the plight of us photographers. But it just felt a lot more manageable to be able to kind of like, all right, edit, send, and then everybody else, my clients get to do the work. They get to pick what they want, and I don't have to get my hands in the pot with that. I've had incredible results this year. I can't wait to see what happens next year. It's been a great investment in my business.
That's amazing.
I don't know why I waited so long. Yeah.
Oh, I am a look forward, not backward kind of a person. The only reason to look backward is to sort of see, is there anything that I can learn from this going forward? So that's wonderful.
Yeah,
well,
for sure.
Talk to me a little bit about, let's do a bit of make-believe. Were there other options that you were considering when you were saying to yourself, like, what I'm doing isn't working? And, where do you feel like you'd be if you had gone in a different direction?
Yeah, I think there's several paths. So if I would have kept on the all-inclusive, doing what I was doing, keeping my pricing the same, I don't know how long I would be doing this still. It's just really time consuming. So it didn't seem manageable. It wasn't profitable for me at the end of the day. And then at the other end of the spectrum, I didn't want to do IPS because like I said, have 2 small kids at home and I don't have the time to do that. Nor do I really want to do that. I'm not like a in-your-face salesy. I don't like that type of environment. And I don't ever want to make my clients feel like I'm trying to push them into something that they don't want to do.
Right.
So this felt like a really happy medium. I mean, I think the other alternative to this would have been to raise my prices. But then I just feel like you really don't give your clients many options. And I like that the Simple Sales Blueprint gives them options. Like if they need to purchase the lowest collection because that's what fits with their budget, but they still really want to work with me, they can do that. Mm-hmm. And if they have the budget for the higher end, they can do that too. And they're getting, everything in between. They get to go pick the products that they really like. I just think it gives a lot of flexibility both for me and my clients. And I think that's important.
Yeah, I love that too. We all want to feel like we have options. And when it comes to all inclusive, it really is. It's like it's like all or none. Are you in or are you out?
You get. Yep.
Yeah. So good.
There's no middle ground with that. So
I love it. So tell me, or tell our listeners, if they are sort of in the process of considering the blueprint or simple sales in general, do you have any words of advice, or are there people that you think it really makes sense for or doesn't make sense for?
I think it makes sense for everyone. Even the second story edition. So I will occasionally shoot births. And even that, before I had gotten into the blueprint and got into that specific lesson, I'm like, well, how is that going to work? And you put it in a way that just, I mean, it explains it so well. And it really helps to, if you are the type of person that's doing wedding or birth or something like more long form, that you can do it. You can use the blueprint for that as well. But yes, I mean, if anyone is considering it, run and buy it now. It is investment that you can make for your business. I will never look back. It's incredible. It's done so much for me. It's given me time back in my life with my kids, with my family. So highly recommend to anyone.
Well, I love that. And I love that you were willing to take the time. I know you, as we got on the call, you were like, yeah, my 9-month-old is napping right now. So
still sleeping.
Yeah. So I appreciate you taking the time in between all of the other things that you've got going on. Yeah. But I know that this kind of information really helps people when they're in the process of making their own decisions. So I will let you get back to your little one, but thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for all the amazing resources that you put out for everyone. You are fantastic. Best educator.
Oh, thank you. You made my day.
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, thank you so much.
If you're ready to make your photography business more profitable, more efficient, and more attractive to your ideal clients, you're ready for the Simple Sales System. Click the link in the show notes or visit thiscan'tbethathard.com/simple sales to get started.